The Perry County coroner says this is a shock, not something he ever sees on a lot of calls, that's for certain. State police are investigating after Kristen Potter was mauled to death by her neighbor's two Great Danes in the neighbor's yard on the 700 block of Clouser Hollow Road in Center Township. The coroner, who I spoke with on the phone, told me the neighbor had asked her to feed the dogs while the neighbor was away, something she's done in the past.
All right, let's stop right there. That's a good place to stop. I mean, the story is only a minute long anyways. These stories that are 45 seconds, a minute and 15 seconds is disrespectful. I understand they're on the clock. They want to fit in as many stories as possible to boost their ratings. But you better come back. You better do a long piece on your website or something. These cases need to be taken seriously. She was feeding her neighbor's dogs while I assume the neighbor was out somewhere, maybe on vacation. Feed the neighbor's dogs. How about no? I know it sounds bad. But are you going to go over to someone's home and feed someone's Great Danes? No, I don't think so. This is exactly why you shouldn't do that. So dog lovers, don't ask people to feed your dog unless you know full well they're a dog owner and a dog, even if they are a dog lover. Be responsible for your own dogs. Your dogs could attack someone. See, this is a case where people are treating dogs like little babies. Oh, little sweet heart just needs some love. No, that is how you view and deal with a human being. In some cases, some people even are too crazy to reason with. So this is kind of complicated. Not really, but a little. This woman was trying to be a good person, and this is exactly what I'm talking about. How people will genuinely try to do something good, be nice, not only to a neighbor, but they might be a dog lover. I understand a lot of them, there's this naivete. It can be very naive and gullible. I get that. And people are not really holding what they've been taught all their life and told to believe all their life. It's hard to hold stuff up like that to scrutiny. But that's what we have to do. You know, it's unfortunate, but that's the world we live in. And you have to say no when your neighbors ask you to feed their dogs. Yes, it's going to be an unpleasant experience, maybe an awkward moment for you and your neighbor. I get that, but things like that happen. All right, let's continue.
Potter and her young son went to the home last evening.
He was present at the...
Now what happened? This is unprovoked too, by the way. They're all unprovoked. She went there to give the dogs food. Do you see where feeding dogs will get you? Being nice to dogs will get you? I don't have anything about being nice or doing something nice for someone. But don't be nice to someone who would randomly attack you and would not feel guilty about it. She had fed these dogs before. So the dogs, they only know her, if they even know her, by her bringing food to them. Now they say dogs have a bad memory. Then they also say dogs never forget a face. Who cares? Is what I say. This is where feeding dogs it gets you. Had she said, no, I'm not going to feed your dog, I don't feed strangers' dogs, she'd still be alive today. Crazy stuff.
Scene, but I don't think he was there for much of it. As soon as he saw the dogs starting to attack his mother, he ran across the road to have his brother call 911.
Wait a minute. What? Let's back that up.
He was present at.
Potter and her young son went to the home last evening.
He was present at the scene, but I don't think he was there for much of it.
Her young son. Now, I'm not mindful how old he was. I'm thinking he was quite young if he left the scene.
As soon as he saw the dogs starting to attack his mother, he ran across the road to have his brother call 911.
Listen to that. The dogs started to attack the adult, and the child ran to call 911. And then they tell you it's okay to bring dogs around kids as long as there is adult supervision. Well, look at what dogs do to the adults. Dogs will send the kids off to dial 911. That's what they do to the adults. So you can't tell me that it's not a violation of the law to have these things inside of homes, at least the homes where children reside, right? I got to start this off dealing with the law first, because that's a big reason why they should be banned. No adult. I mean, even if it was just one, this is a Great Dane. These are huge dogs. If I'm not mistaken, these are bully breeds. Right? There's your adult supervision.
Call 911.
Wrestler told me when police and EMS arrived, they couldn't reach the victim because of the aggressive dogs.
So the dogs were still being aggressive. You know, this is really just a dog thing. This wasn't no fear-based attack. It's not fear-based if you continue to attack after the victim is dead. Wow.
Animal control was called to the scene and tranquilized the animals, which were later taken to a veterinarian where they were euthanized. The third Great Dane was there, but not involved.
A third was there, but not involved. So they did not euthanize that one. You should have. Because guess what? That third Great Dane did not care. It did not think one way or the other about the attack. And why wasn't it involved if it's so loving? Why didn't it try to fight off the other two dogs for attacking this woman for no reason? Huh? Why don't we have these discussions? Crazy, crazy story right here. And I want to refer to an article that was written about this. This article right here. Go over this article. This is the longest article I found on this story for whatever reason. Very strange story in that sense. Good morning to everybody. I see everybody up in the house. Sub-Zero, Mr. Payne Sink, Parasitic Mutant. Yes, sir, Isabel. Everybody up in the house. Buster Gundo, no, Isabel. Path, Sub-Zero, Geoff Cooper. Yeah, what's going on? It is Saturday morning. Hope y'all doing well. Had fun yesterday, last night. It is the weekend. It is time to relax. Huh? And there's so many stories to talk about. I'm not even going to stress myself about covering every single thing because I just won't be able to. And even if I could, I have to divert that extra energy towards my book, right? Stars, yeah, I see everybody up in here. Cannabis, lumpy. So now this is what look at this article right here. Look how short it is. This is about that story. So this is part of the propaganda. Writing little tiny short articles like this. Oh, somebody was attacked by a dog. On the other news. See? And a lot of these articles that cover this story, very short. Yeah, horrific story. This is another one. Look at how short this article is. Now, I don't think this is one of those articles where you subscribe or you purchase, you become a member or whatever, and then you get to read the whole article. I don't see anything like that. It just says, if you purchase a product or register for an account through one of the links on our site, we may receive compensation. That's all it says. So this is the extent of the article. And look at what it says. This same woman, she was 38 years old, and she lost her husband several years ago. Then in 2020, her 11-year-old son was killed when he was hit by a vehicle crossing the road in front of their own home. So it's not like she got a call, her son had been hit, and then she went to the hospital, saw him all wrapped up and bandaged up. No, she saw her son on the ground, right in front of her home. This is crazy. So lost her son, before that lost her husband. Then she wanted to go feed the neighbor's dog. Now, I understand the dog culture, the mentality. You don't hold things up to scrutiny. You don't look at things critically. You don't question what you've been told to believe. You don't question or challenge the status quo. You don't want to be an outsider. You don't want to be looked at as an evil person. So you sort of go along with this dog culture. At the very least, you try to tolerate dogs. You don't want to be rude, so you pet your friend's dog when you go into their home. You don't want to be rude or whatever. Maybe you like dogs too. You tell your neighbor, yeah, I'll feed your dog while you're out of town. No, I understand that. But this is a case where this was brainwashery. Much of these people are seriously brainwashed. We all are. To view dogs as members of society that belong here. I believe the only way she could have avoided this is if she truly felt dogs don't belong in the community. And had to have been passionate about that belief. That way she could have stood on her square when her neighbor wouldn't have even asked her to do that. Had she made her intent clear from the door. I don't like dogs. I don't go near dogs. Hi, neighbor, how are you? I can't come into your home. Right? I don't go into homes where dogs reside. I am an anti-dog. Why? Well, because of stories just like this. There are too many of them. It's just that simple. And most of them don't make the news, like this story. Okay? And many of them are complete stories. They're just as bad as this story, but they don't make the news. There are too many stories like this. So I'm anti-dog. And At that point, the only thing they can do is look at you like an oddball for paying attention to the obvious, to something that you should pay attention to. You know, it involves you avoiding being killed, avoiding something dangerous and deadly. Nobody can knock that. Went to feed these dogs and was killed. Now, am I supposed to believe she went over there and provoked them? Is that what we're supposed to believe? Now, the behaviorists say, well, dogs always show warning signs. Okay, so were you there when she was attacked? No, you just want to assume that there were warning signs, right? As a professional. Oh, is that what professionals do? They don't do real investigations. They just make assumptions. That's what it sounds like to me. So this is not a real profession. It's not a real profession. And of course, me reporting on this story the way that I am, according to the person who wrote this article, who hasn't responded yet, according to them, I'm whipping up fear. Whipping up fear of what? Of something that's deadly? Yes, I am. As opposed to what you do, which is trying to encourage people to expose themselves to something that's deadly, to create the environment, to be a victim of these deadly creatures. By whipping up fear, you're trying to suppress or hide danger. That is pathetic. And this article is really the best attempt that I've seen. You don't remember, I shared this on the most recent live stream. This is the best attempt I've seen from them in a while to try to counter people paying attention to how violent these things are. And that's all we do. This ain't whipping up fear. We are a group of people who pays close attention to the attack cases. What you should fear is people who bend over backwards to ignore it, who don't pay attention to it. Those are the same people who go out and acquire one of these killing mutants and bring them into the home, into the community, period, without a care in the world. And they'll let it run around the neighborhood off leash because they specialize in ignoring how dangerous. They ignore all information that details how dangerous these things are. Why should you be a person who should be respected if that's your thing? And this is the thing of all these pro-dog people. All of them are like this. Pushing the idea that you should not pay attention to the hazard. And at that point, it's about principle. No matter what the hazard is, people, if somebody tries to encourage you to ignore and to act like the hazard doesn't exist, could you imagine something like this going down inside of a business? Could you imagine a near miss where somebody almost was killed? Y'all think the managers would come out and say, let's pretend like it didn't happen and let's set up the same hazard and just believe and hope that it doesn't happen again? That is exactly, with no exaggeration, that is exactly this dog culture. That's exactly what they do. And there's no way you can't make sense out of that. There's no way to make sense out of it. And that's why these behaviorists and whatnot, they make a point to ignore us. And if they do acknowledge us, it's in the form of a little weak article. And the people who write it or say it, they don't want to have a dialogue, a back and forth with their critics. So I can't respect that. Not going to respect it. There is no such thing as xenophobia. Right? Don't insult yourself. Y'all need to remove that from the books. Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous. But this is a horrible story. We've heard stories like this before. Now, this article that this guy wrote, that I referred to, check out how he structured it. Pretty good article. Okay, he got into some pretty good detail. He explained the situation, pointed out that 2 of them were euthanized. He said, look at this. Great Danes are recognized as among the largest, most powerful dog breeds. Generally not considered dangerous and aggressive dogs. They're often described as gentle giants that are good with children and other dogs. But some Great Danes can become timid, anxious, or territorial with strangers if they're not socialized with outsiders as puppies. Now, this sounds like someone who's making an attempt to help people by saying the right things, writing the right things, but is making the mistake of not being thoroughly educated about dogs. So he has bought into this idea that they attack because they're scared, timid, anxious, or just territorial. No, they attack because they're just bloodthirsty, very unstable killers. And people try to suppress the killer instinct with food. And it works sometimes. But that killer instinct, the nature of it, could switch on at any moment. And it could be against the person that feeds it and take care of it. So that was a bad thing to write right there. But look at this. He's trying to explain that there have been more than one story of Great Danes attacking people. Okay, so that is, I can sort of tip my hat to that. They're pointing out other stories where Great Danes attack people. So he starts right here. There have been reports of other deadly Great Dane attacks in the U.S. in recent years, including some that killed their owners. It's not the best article, but at least it's better than the other ones. They're not just saying, hey, somebody was killed by a Great Dane on to other news. Yeah, point this out. Point this out. It seemed like he tried to make an attempt. He said in Iowa, a woman was found in a ditch after authorities determined she had been killed by her 5 Great Danes last August. I know y'all remember that story. Killed because it was so ridiculous. Like, what, 5? 1 could have killed her. Like, how you get killed by 5 Great Danes? And they were hers. I remember that story, don't you? I made a video about it because I was flipping out. I'm like, how is that even possible? You got 5 Great Danes. They all love you, according to you. That's what the dog lovers say. My dogs love me. They would never attack me. So how on earth did 5 Great Danes all join in and participate in mauling their owner? That speaks to the fact that these things are not loving and they have no souls. If they have a soul, it's an evil soul. And it's a demonic soul. Woman was found in a ditch. So they attacked her and drug her body around, which is what dogs, that's what they always do. And they try their best to rip you apart in opposite directions. This is crazy. So this is an article of that story where the woman was killed by 5 Great Danes. So he points that out. Good. But he goes on, he said another woman who had rescued 2 Great Danes in Ohio was killed when they attacked her in 2019. Another story of someone rescuing a mutt. Okay, in this case, it was 2 of them. And
a fatal attack inside a quiet Clear Creek Township subdivision. The suspects, the family's dogs, 2 Great Danes. The victim, 49-year-old Mary Matthews.
Come home with my son because my son picked me up. We found her in the bathroom.
Mark Matthews says sometime...
Man. So she was at home alone with some Great Danes. Well, if those Great Danes snap, there's a good chance you're going to come home and find your wife dead. So you know what you do? You don't bring them into the home. There's no honor in this. You took a chance and failed. See, all the while the dogs are not attacking anyone, they brag and boast about their possession of them. This is especially the case with owners of large, vicious breeds. They treat all the moment when the dog is not attacking anyone as a special moment to rub in other people's faces and to prove that these are harmless creatures. But if they do snap and attack, then what? Then all that goes out the window. Now you got to change your whole identity. You imagine these people who are Instagram celebrities by being a dog lover, hauling dogs around every day, taking photos. One day the dogs kill their family and everybody. Now all of a sudden your life stops. You can't even possibly be a nutter like that anymore.
And within a 3-day period that he was gone, his wife was attacked by the dogs and she bled out.
Wait, what? Wait a minute.
Within a 3-day period.
Son, because my son picked me up. We found her in the bathroom.
Mark Matthews says sometime within a 3-day period that he was gone, his wife was attacked by the dogs and she bled out.
They got her leg and they got her under the arm.
And in numerous other places, investigators say.
We got some preliminary results back from...
Like always, she was slowly tortured. You have to consider the severity of these attacks when trying to determine whether or not the attackers should be banned. And they should. They're considered property by the law. They are already considered property. And just like other dangerous property, you violate the law if you bring them into the home and there's children inside the home. So let's start this dog ban off with anyone who has children. You have to surrender your dog. Let's just get it started. Got to surrender it. And if you want a dog, it can't be more than 20 pounds or something like that. Because if there is a ban I believe it's going to start like that. It's going to start with the most extreme. They'll probably start with pit bulls or bully breeds, nationwide pit bull ban. Look out for something like that, where they are going to try to ban one specific bully breed. But no, if that happens, we're going to see that that does not solve the problem. But then they're going to say, see, banning pit bulls doesn't solve the problem. When the truth is, there would be a bunch of other bully breeds out here floating around.
The coroner's office, and the cause of death is being attributed to the dog attacks.
Mark says he and his wife adopted the 2 Great Danes 2 years ago.
And she liked the rest.
2 years. That's a long time in dog years. Killed her. There's your loving dogs. That's the heart of a dog right there. Hey, guess what? Nutters, guess what? And I'm not even talking about this woman. I'm going to try to be respectful. I'm going to be respectful to this woman and her family, because I'm just not a horrible person like that. But doesn't this prove that these things don't appreciate anything? They don't. No.
The cause of death is being attributed to the dog attacks.
Mark says he and his wife adopted the 2 Great Danes 2 years ago.
And she liked to rescue animals that were going to be put down.
See, I speak against this all the time. This was a dodo moment. I can almost guarantee you she was a fan of the dodo. Guarantee you that. So this is directly what sites like the dodo support and encourage. They literally have a hand in deaths like this. So this is what they support. You know, I'm here supporting. I'm against this. They are encouraging it. So congratulations, Dodo. Your work that you put in, that you do every day, has encouraged this. Yet another death. She's trying to rescue dogs that were on death row. We've heard that before. People who do that, they are seen by the dog community as the most respected of all dog lovers. They're viewed as the most respected and revered. They're looked at as like dog lover gurus. Almost definitely. When they focus on dogs that are on death row and adopt them, and that whole cult movement is built around this idea that the dogs are mean because they haven't been shown love. Oh, it's just because nobody's shown them real love. So as crazy as it may sound to us, many of these people really trying to do something positive. They believe, they think to themselves, they think that they're doing something that's truly positive, and it's not. Because if not for her, someone else could have been attacked by these dogs, maybe someone's child. So yeah, so you saying that this was worth it? This death was worth it? Because rubbing on dogs is that beneficial? Yeah, this is a horrible story, but you know, we can't go without rubbing on dogs. So no bans. No, we're going to have to get these bans going. We're going to have to get these bans going. And go ahead and start off small. Start off with pure pit bulls. A nationwide ban. Pure pit bulls. They're illegal. Nobody can own them. You can't import them. Get them out the country. And then you're going to see, and I'm calling it now so that they won't be able to fall back on this, they're going to see that there are still mutilized victims all across the country at a high rate and deaths. And it's going to be because there's still a bunch of bully breeds out there. That's what all the pit bull bands do.
Death is being attributed to the dog attacks.
Mark says he and his wife adopted the 2 Great Danes 2 years ago.
And she liked to rescue animals that were going to be put down.
Recently, Mark says one of them became vicious and 3 weeks ago bit him in the arm.
It used to look a lot worse, but it's healing. I wanted to get rid of him, but she wouldn't.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. What a dose of reality right there. He wanted to get rid of him. He woke up a little bit. Reality hit him for a minute. And he said, oh, let's get rid of him. She didn't want it. That's why there's no wiggle room. You simply can't tolerate dogs. You're either all in or all out. You can't be just a little anti-dog. Oh, I don't like dogs, but I'll date a dog lover. You know, I'll go over a dog lover's home. No, you got to completely stay away from him. He had his wake-up call in the form of a bite 3 weeks previous. Had his warning. That was his calling to get him out the house. And she sweet-talked him into keeping those worthless, useless, good-for-nothing mutts.
Worse, but it's healing. I wanted to get rid of him, but she wouldn't.
Because Mary loved them like family.
Oh, man. Wow. This is where that rhetoric gets you. And if it's not you, the owner, who gets killed like this, it's somebody's child, maybe even yours. So this is a classic dog lover. Dogs are family. Dogs are family. Let's rescue the dogs on death row. No dead dogs. Stop treating these things like these are not human beings. We are human beings. You should only do things like this for other human beings. You got a big heart and you want to do something good. You want to take care of a life. Go adopt a child. That's what you do. I guarantee the child's not going to maul you to death. You see, dog moms and dog dads, kids can't do this. You always want to talk about how evil and terrible kids are, even though you yourself used to be a kid. We all used to be a kid. You want to project this idea that dogs are no different from kids. Kids can't do this. I can't even say that they won't do this. They can't do anything like this. You know, living beings that are truly harmless, those are the only beings you can say that about, where you can say they can't do anything like this. But you don't want to bend over backwards to protect them. Harmless humans, no. You want to bend over backwards to put them in danger. Very sick, man.
A lot worse, but it's healing. I wanted to get rid of him, but she wouldn't.
Because Mary loved them like family. Investigators say blood covered the inside of the couple's home in the Silver Lake subdivision, and there were signs Mary tried to fight off the attack.
Look at that home. That's a nice home. That's a nice neighborhood. Okay? So, financial success is not intelligence. That's not intelligence. Okay? And this is powerful brainwashery, man. Indoctrination is very powerful.
The Silver Lake subdivision, and there were signs Mary tried to fight off the attack and was even able to put them out on the back porch. She never called authorities for help. Mark says he hopes others can learn from what happened to his family. If you have a vicious dog, get rid of it.
I wouldn't take the chance at all, because they're a ticking time bomb.
For whatever.
There you go. There you go. Yeah. Now you're saying that. Now you're talking our language. Oh, now. Don't wait till after something like this happens, people. Get rid of them now. But the sad part is, there are a bunch of people who don't care. Oh, I'll take the chance anyways. It's that simple. A lot of them are, I'll take the chance anyways. Yeah, that was sad, but it's so rare. My dog would never do that. Not my dog. Had this month for 2 years.
Ticking time bomb.
For whatever reason, she just wouldn't agree to that, and it may have cost her life here. So
may have cost her, did. Because she didn't agree to get rid of them after they attacked him, that cost her her life. That was her warning. She refused to take heed. Huh? And this is exactly what sites like the Dodo support. They support you refusing to get rid of dogs after they attack someone. Oh, how is the bite? Oh, it's just a few puncture wounds. Oh, it's not. Don't get rid of it. Don't get rid of it. Show it more love. It attacked because you did something wrong. You were irresponsible. This is exactly what the Dodo supports. Rescuing dogs that are on death row. Okay, now this was one of the previous stories. One of the stories that this journalist referred to in this article. Happened in 2019. Crazy stuff. Pennsylvania Department of Agriculture's dangerous dog registry, which includes hundreds of dogs, they wrote pets there, only lists 2 Great Danes, both in locations other than Perry County. So there had been 2 other Great Danes on the dangerous dog list. In a different county. But it shows you that dangerous dog list is worthless. They project this idea as if the dog, if it's not on the dangerous dog list, then it's not dangerous. Oh, it's not dangerous until we deem it dangerous. Okay, when is that? Well, you got to wait till somebody actually gets attacked. No, thank you. That's why I'm not coming into your house. No, thank you. And I'm not feeding your dog. See, I'm not about to be one of those victims. I'm not going to be the reason why your dog gets deemed dangerous, but it still lives. No, thank you. This happens sometimes, and a lot of people end up taking those dogs out themselves. You know? A simple incident can result in a dog being placed on the dangerous dog registry. And if a dog attacks a person, a criminal complaint may be filed that results in charges against the owner. Many attacks result in civil litigation. Owners of dangerous dogs must pay an annual $500 registration fees and must keep their dogs in enclosures that meet state standards. The dogs need to be neutered or spayed and must be muzzled and restrained whenever they're outside their enclosures. Now, let's say they spay or neuter the dog. That's really the only thing they can do that's significant And it's only possibly significant because that does not always work. Aggression will return because being aggressive is the natural state of the dog. You chop its genitals off. Their hormones are oftentimes only rearranged temporarily. And then they stabilize and the dog is what? It's dangerous again. So that's not a guaranteed fix. That's not a solution. And most people don't want to spay or neuter their dog. And there's no law that says they have to. And let's not wait till somebody gets mutilated or killed before you have a dog spayed or neutered. That's their response to somebody being attacked. Oh, just chop its genitals off. And the idea of them being muzzled is goofy because they could simply leave the property where they don't have to be muzzled. Against your wishes, you can just run out the front door. And they said restrained. Yeah, they can't do that. That's not possible. So let's stop with that. All dog owners try to restrain their dog to some extent if they have them on a leash. This is pathetic. Other requirements include liability insurance and clearly posted signs outside the homes where they live. Talking about how, I somewhat tip my hat to this article. It's probably the best one available, even though it is still somewhat flawed. Go ahead and share that. But I like to see articles where it looks like the writer is under pressure to be more detailed, more specific, more responsible with including the statistics on dog attacks. There's no reason to tell a story, some horrible story of somebody getting killed by a dog, and you don't even include other stories like this, maybe in the city or county, whatever, the statistics. You got to keep this information out there. It'll all help to turn this country into an anti-dog country. And that's the goal. That's the goal. And we will get there. That will be the case all across the world. People will fully wake up. It's only a matter of time. It's not a case or a matter of if. And I know all the people who hate the anti-dog community. You hate this. You hate to hear me even say this, that this world will be majority anti-dog soon. I'm telling you now, it will. Well, it hasn't been yet, so how do you know that? Because nobody like us has ever emerged. This is the first time you've seen a group like us. We're dead serious. We've dealt with all your goofy little arguments. We've heard all your little arguments in defense of dogs. They're all worthless, pathetic, sound like they were created by a drug addict. It's a wrap. We've dealt with the best among you, with the rhetoric that comes from the best, most educated among you. And it's shameful. Totally shameful. So it's only a matter of time. We are intelligent beings. We will gravitate towards intelligence. It's just a matter of time. Now it's still kind of early. 10:51 a.m. my time. Still kind of early. I don't know what y'all have planned today. I'm going to do a Zoom call with my family today. So I'm looking forward to that. A lot of family members I haven't seen in a long time. They came up with this idea. Hey, let's do a Zoom call. Now, I never done Zoom. I have to download it for the first time and figure it out. Hopefully I will, because I want to do that. Appreciate family. You know, I can't articulate it very well all the time, but my family empowers me. I think about them all the time, and they give me a lot of strength. And the problem, big problem in this dog culture, people don't value life, family, nothing. What is it? They're just desperate to be accepted, to be a part of a group, insecurity, a whole bunch of stuff. Whatever it is, it's got to go. It's got to go. We're far better than this, far above this. It's a shameful era in human history. Let's put an end to it. Shout out to everybody able to join me for this live stream. This live stream wasn't too long this time. Still almost an hour. I see you, Mr. Champagne, Nikki. Been here, Cannabis, Moochie, Annabelle. Hope y'all have a pleasant Saturday. Dog free as always. And I hope to see you all back on the next live stream as we continue with this crusade.